my name's Felicia and I like scary movies, and today we're talking about a whole lot of scary movies. So it is early August right now, and I wanted to make a list of all the upcoming horror films of 2019, what we have left in these next 5 months to look forward to, and it turns out there's a lot more than I thought. So if you're part of my horror movie club, you've seen this notebook before. I have all my notes, I have my Twitter, and I have IMDb. So hopefully with all that, I'll have some pretty accurate information for you guys. I'm gonna be doing this by release date. As you know, release dates do change sometimes, but hopefully most of these will be intact. And then at the very end, I'm gonna go through some upcoming horror movies that are supposed to be released in 2019, but we don't have all the info yet, aka a release date. The first movie I put on my list, which I thought wasn't out yet, is actually already streaming on Amazon, but I will still tell you about it. That is Darlin. So this movie is a direct sequel to the 2011 film The Woman. It was about a feral woman and starred Pollyanna McIntosh. And the coolest thing about this sequel, Darlin, is actually written and directed by that same actress. So she acted in the original and she has written and is directing the sequel, which I think is really freaking cool. Darlin is about a feral teenager who has been put into strict religious care, and I'm assuming it doesn't go very well. I will link the Amazon link down below so you guys can watch it. I'm gonna be watching it this weekend. Next up, we have a very exciting movie for me and my childhood, and it comes out tomorrow, and it is Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. So this movie, I've been so excited because the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark books are what really got me into horror back in elementary school. So I'm very excited to see this movie. It is PG-13, which I think actually makes sense for this film. A big selling point for this movie was that it was produced by Guillermo del Toro, my one and only. It was written by Kevin and Dan Hageman and directed by Andre Overdahl, who you'll also know from directing The Autopsy of Jane Doe. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix and it's awesome. And also The Troll Hunter, which is a very strange and funny found footage troll movie. Next up, on August 21st, we have Ready or Not. This is sort of a horror, mystery, thriller combo, and it's about a bride who on her wedding night has to play a very strange and sinister game with her new in-laws. I think this trailer looks really, really awesome and fun, and also is by the guys that made VHS, so I have some hope for some good horror in here. Next up, on August 23rd, we have Tone Deaf. This one, I believe, is coming to select theaters and then to VOD, and this is the new Richard Bates Jr. film. I just started getting into his work by watching his film Excision from 2012, which was so weird and awesome. Like, I was sort of freaking out about it. I love it. So I'm really excited to watch this movie and the rest of his work. It is a horror comedy about a girl who gets fired from her city job and goes to the country for some relaxation. Turns out the guy she rented the house from is some sort of psychopath. This is a horror comedy, and I heard him describe it as Urban Outfitters, but evil. And so, like, I'm intrigued by that. Also on August 23rd, we have Jacob's Ladder. This is a remake from the 1990 film about a veteran who comes back from war and has trouble holding on to his sanity. This one was directed by David Rosenthal and stars Jesse Williams, who is in one of my favorite horror movies of all time, Cabin in the Woods. And according to my notebook, we're now into September, and on September 6th, we have the highly anticipated It Chapter 2. This has the same team as the first It movie, so the script is by Gary Dauberman and was directed by Andreas Muschietti. So these trailers have been fire. I am so excited for It Chapter 2. I know it's gonna be awesome. I will be there on opening night. See you there. September 6th also gives us another release that I'm super excited about, and that is Satanic Panic. I just watched the trailer for this and I'm like, this is all me. This is about a pizza delivery girl who crashes a high society satanic party and they want a virgin. And I'm just like, this is everything I've ever wanted in a movie. This was written by Grady Hendrix, who wrote a bunch of horror comedy novels, including My Best Friend's Exorcism, which I have read and love. I'm so excited he wrote the script, and it is directed by Chelsea Stardust, who used to work for Blumhouse and recently directed All That We Destroy on Hulu. Okay, now we're moving to Twitter because I just found out about this movie via my feed, and I want to make sure I say things right. Okay, got it. So on September 13th, which is also Friday the 13th, we're getting a movie called Haunt. This was written and directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods, who were the writers responsible for A Quiet Place. It's also produced by Eli Roth, so hopefully it'll be extra gory. This one seems to be about a group of young people who go to an extreme haunt. The trailer sort of looks like a cross between Hellfest from last year and Hell House LLC from 2016-ish? 2015, close enough. Okay, now we've moved into October. We have two pretty big movies coming out on October 18th. The first one is The Lighthouse. This is Robert Eggers' new film. He's the guy that did The Witch. This one stars William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. The trailer looks really beautiful and I'm very excited for this one. And in a very different horror direction, we have Zombieland 2, Double Tap, which I feel like is a little bit of a lame name and it feels like a little bit like we're a little bit past Double Tap as like an interesting concept, but you know, whatever. This is coming out 10 years after the original Zombieland and pretty much has the original cast and team on it. I'm sure it'll be great. I'm sure it'll be funny. And according to my notes, we're already into November, so if I've missed any October films, please tell me in the comments. First up on November 8th, we have Dr. Sleep, which is of course the sequel to The Shining. It is Danny's story. It is directed by Mike Flanagan. Mike Flanagan is one of my favorite horror directors for making things like The Haunting of Hill House series on Netflix and Oculus. And apparently Flanagan's gonna do his best to blend the love that people have for Kubrick's film and also what Stephen King wrote in the book. Okay, next up on November 15th, we have The Lodge. This is about a soon-to-be stepmother who gets snowed in with her fiance and soon-to-be stepchildren. This movie is by Servian Fiala and Veronica Franz, the duo that made Goodnight Mommy in 2014, which scared the poop out of me. So I am very excited for this film and also pretty terrified. And now the last film I have with a release date is on December 13th, and that is Blumhouse's Black Christmas remake. I actually just saw the original Black Christmas this last year for the first time and fell in love with it. There was already a Black Christmas remake in 2005. It was fun, but not that good. But Blumhouse's version is written by Sophia Taki and April Wolf and directed by Sophia Taki. I'm really excited about a female team on this movie because one of my favorite things about the original 1974 film is how well written all the women in that movie are and how they're dealing with real world problems, and I'm just excited to see what they do with it. And now the last two films I'm going to talk about don't have release dates yet. The first one being, of course, Rob Zombie's 3 from Hell. So we have a trailer out for that. We had a teaser trailer and his website still says the movie's coming out in September, but we don't have an exact date yet, so I don't know. Either way, I am a Rob Zombie fan. I love that his movies don't feel like anyone else's movies and they're just whatever he wants to do. I think that's kind of cool. And the last one we have is Rabid, which is a remake from the Cronenberg Rabid from 1977. This one is directed by the Soska twins. You'll know them from doing things like Dead Hooker in a Trunk and American Mary. I love American Mary. I think it's such a fun film. And the trailer for this looks just as brutal and whimsical as their work seems to be, and I'm excited for it. According to the internet, it's debuting at London Fright Fest on August 26th, but there is no distribution plan past that I can find, but hopefully we'll hear word soon. And I think that's it for now. If I've missed any films, just let me know in the comments so I can see them, but I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited for the rest of the movies of 2019. It's gonna be a pretty horrific rest of this year, and I'm stoked. I hope you guys have an ice cream, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!